Hello everyone, my name is Jared White. I'm an undergraduate student at Florida International University pursuing a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. Today I will be presenting you a research presentation on the ethical and global threat of SIM swaps. The SIM swap is a new threat that involves your SIM card in your cellular device. The SIM swap is a cellular exploit that bypasses multi-factor authentication. This attack has been an emerging problem that cell phone service providers worldwide are struggling with. The ethical issues presented for this exploit are uniquely complex for organizations and individuals. This presentation will explain the SIM swap exploit and its significance in our current technological environment. Secondly, this presentation will provide the ethical issues and impacts on individuals. The third section will explore how organizations reacted to the growing trend of SIM swaps, and lastly, the global concerns and circumstances will be evaluated. The conclusion will summarize the paper and how technology helped create this ethical issue. The CTIA, which represents the wireless communications industry, defines a SIM swap exploit or fraud as when a scammer transfers your phone number to another device without your authorization. The exploit allows scammers to begin receiving communications associated with your phone number, including those that may enable them to access your social media profiles, banking, and other accounts. A SIM swap exploit can have multiple methods of execution. These methods include social engineering, information gathering, and bad internal actors that work for the cell phone service provider. Social engineering refers to the malicious techniques to get a target to reveal specific information or perform a particular action for illegal or illegitimate purposes. Along with the social engineering, a successful SIM swap also requires gathering information on the target. The information gathering portion involves researching the target's social media accounts, family history, banking details, and any public information found online. This information helps formulate the social engineering attack. For example, a bad actor who wants to access your phone number will call your cell phone service provider pretending to be you by answering security questions, and then once authenticated, the attacker will want to port a new SIM card with your phone number into a new device that is not yours. The last known technique used to perform a SIM swap successfully involves the attacker bribing or paying inside informants within the cell phone service company to complete the exploit. This technique skips the information gathering phase and protects the attacker even more since there is no need for social engineering. Within our current digital age, we require multi-factor authentication on our electronic devices and applications that are utilized daily. With the world always connected to our smartphones, there has been a demand for intelligent security. The SIM swap bypasses that. The SIM swap significance applies to anyone using a smartphone. This technological exploit has a global reach. However, the chances of recovering assets differ depending on where you are and where you live. Any potential victim of a SIM swap risks losing everything. With the rise of this new attack, ethical concerns are now being raised about how individuals and organizations can stay protected. The FBI Internet Crimes Complaint Center reported over 1,611 SIM swapping complaints in 2021, which included more than $68 million in losses in the United States alone. In 2019, Twitter of CEO Jack Dorsey fell victim to a SIM swap attack. After research was conducted, it was found that the cell phone service provider stated the attack was due to a security oversight. Another high-profile target was in 2018, CEO Michael Turpin fell victim to the exploit when a hacker social engineered AT&T and stole $24 million from his crypto accounts. Turpin sued AT&T when it was discovered that social engineering was the means for the attack. A California judge in March of 2023 later dropped the case. With the rise of information on this new exploit, questions are being raised about who is responsible for the losses that are incurred. Is it the organizations that fell victim to the social engineering or the hacker groups that steal money from the victims? SIM swaps have been around since 2015, but caught the attention of cell phone service providers during the COVID-19 pandemic. The reputational and financial consequences of the high-profile cases brought more awareness regarding SIM swaps and put more pressure on service providers due to their inability to secure customer information. When service providers were first contacted in response to the first few high-profile attacks, they denied responsibility and resorted to not disclosing any information. They instead referred to their standard operating procedures. The three main service providers maintained diffusion of responsibility and did not want to take blame because they knew at the time it would hurt their own reputation and admit fault. After more cases came out, service providers quickly and quietly started implementing their own proprietary security measures to prevent attacks. Because the exploit can be done from anywhere in the world, this creates ethical concerns for every telecommunication company and phone manufacturer. Based on the following evidence, the United States has not been the only target when it comes to the SIM swap exploit. Reports from Spain, India, and the United Kingdom have reported increases in SIM swap attacks. These community struggles are more consequential due to the digital divide. Since the attacks are either not reported or underreported, many of the victims go unheard in developing countries. Without the appropriate resources, the perfect environment is established for attackers to remain anonymous, and they escape legal consequences. This is putting more pressure on phone service providers to provide the appropriate protections for customers. There's been a cost of expansion in regards to information technology, and complexer problems are created for individuals due to consumer demand and competition between manufacturers as technology expands every year. Consumers worldwide now have access to brand new devices with advanced features nearly every year. With new features and benefits being the primary form of marketing for brand new devices, security has fallen by the wayside. Telecom companies collectively operate together with other large technology firms and have taken a utilitarian view of their expansion around the world. This has helped bridge the digital divide globally, but has had its consequences of rights being violated, privacy exploits, and financial losses for victims of these type of attacks and consumers, not only because of SIM swap attacks. The conflict between needs and expectations have been a constant problem with global expansion for telecommunication industries and cell phone manufacturers. With such expansion, telecom giants choose to adopt a diffusion of responsibility model towards issues that arise, which eventually lead to consumers complaining and threatening litigation, forcing the industry as a whole to make a change. This issue is mostly because of companies not wanting to take responsibility for things until they are right at the front door and there's at least all kinds of news about an exploit or an attack happening, and it's almost like it's forcing action. Throughout my research regarding this exploit, there has been a lot of issues regarding that, and really it takes a lot of high-profile victims to force companies to make change. This analysis shows how organizations have more utilitarian processes when it comes to the consumer good. Based on the global and domestic reports regarding SIM swap cases beginning in 2015, tech giants started promoting awareness and protection of the problem when the truth about the execution of the attack started coming out in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. The flaw with these utilitarian practices is the focus on achieving the best collective result for all, despite the rights of some being violated, which is shown in the report findings. After reports were published, including many involving litigations, tech giants like AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon were eventually forced to respond to the problem. Cell phone service providers did implement security measures that can help prevent some SIM swap attacks with their proprietary security measures, but despite their actions, social engineering still plays a huge role and can bypass almost any security measure. Based on the reported evidence and discoveries on SIM swaps, it has been made widely apparent that responsibility and transparency are the most significant tech industry issues currently at hand. The ethical ACM standards that were broken by each company involved privacy incidents, dishonesty, and inadvertently promoting consumer harm. At the time these ethical standards were broken by each company, they failed to disclose what happened in each SIM swap case because it involved a consumer privacy incident and therefore reputational damage. The SIM swap exploit has caused a plethora of problems for consumers and organizations, but it also has brought more global awareness when it comes to phone security. This exploit has forced tech companies to rethink phone designs, and cell phone service providers has forced them to create responsible security controls to make consumers safer as a whole. But unfortunately, there have been many victims to this attack that haven't been reported and have been unheard, and it's a continuous problem still relevant to today.